Welcome to Vision in Action Live. We have a presentation today on the dynamics of personal development and a discussion with our guest, Michal Stawicki, personal development and business coach and author of 16 self-help books, many of them on Amazon. Welcome, Mr. Stawicki. I'm Jim Boswell. I'm your host and the author of Lifelong Fulfillment, Take Charge of Your Life. So today's presentation is on the dynamics of personal development. This is where we talk about engaging parts and all of the full spectrum of personal development resources. So looking into this, when we think about personal development, it pays us to understand what's available, where it resides, how to choose preferred resources over the plethora of options that are available to you, how to optimize those resources, and how and when to engage them. So throughout this, we're going to give you ideas about how to do that. For the purposes of today's discussion, let's just simply assume that your initiative in personal development is relatively new, that your relevant knowledge in this space is somewhat sparse, if at all, and your initial horizons are relatively short. You have some urgent issue probably that you want to address. And let's do this from the perspective of being in the United States in 2024. With that said, your personal development interest likely results from some new or urgent need to resolve, and it's a specific difficulty or problem or challenge or opportunity that you want to address. It's less likely that you're looking at it as a comprehensive lifelong fulfillment plan focus, but that's something you can grow this initiative into. You may assume that for the purposes of your starting out that you do lack the self-knowledge. You don't really know what you don't know. You don't fully understand your risk tolerances and goals, and you don't know where to begin. And there's lots of expert solutions out there to help you learn these things. You do know that your interest in self-help is genuine, so that's your starting point. So let's look at the history of personal development growth. Essentially, personal development has been a conversation and has been in development for over 6,000 years. Think of it as Confucius, Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle. If we move quickly forward, if we come to North America, Ben Franklin actually wrote 13 Virtues at the age of 20 in 1726. Following on his advice, there are other focuses like Wallace Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich, about 1910. Napoleon Hill, who's pretty well understood and popular, as of 1937, Think and Grow Rich. And he was a friend to Andrew Carnegie. And Earl Nightingale, who in 1989 wrote Earl Nightingale's Greatest Discovery. I want to mention that these data points are all from Mr. Phil Ciccio's website that talks about the history. Let's look at the more current events. So more recently, in the 30s, things started happening. Bob Proctor, who was a Canadian philosopher, wrote You Were Born Rich. John Rome, he's an author, speaker, and philosopher, circa 1930, Strategies for Wealth and Happiness, The Art of Exceptional Living, and other books. Dale Carnegie, who we mentioned earlier, as of 1936, wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People. John C. Maxwell, author, speaker, and minister, around 1935, wrote things like The Laws of Leadership and 16 Undeniable Laws of Communication. And then, of course, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale with The Power of Positive Thinking in 1956. So there's been a lot up through the first part of the 1900s. And now we've reached about 2000. Self-help has begun to explode. One example of that is in 2006, the release of the movie The Secret, and which created a following and an awareness. And so books, podcasts, and research are all now quite prolific, as we'll get into. So self-help is undoubtedly a popular initiative in the US and worldwide. It is growing. There are lots of books, podcasts, professional help, and other resources out there, but these resources are virtually unnavigable for a novice in personal development. And the veracity of the resources has become a critical issue to keeping inspiration and motivation practical and actionable so that it delivers the desired results. And the issue is, are these multiplicity of books and things simply a restatement of already existing knowledge, or are they in fact new research and new conclusions that need to be part of our awareness? So let's look at a little further here. In the US, there's 245 coaching schools in the US that a person can sign up for. And these are the people that would be helping individuals, say, like me, who have an issue and feel they need some help. And 13 coaching certifications internationally bestow a degree or a certification on the students that go through those coaching schools. And this is just coaching alone. If you move into counselors, advisors, therapists, and so forth, many of them are taught and credentialed at university and or by other agencies. To give you a benchmark, in 2024, Amazon self-help category books total 126. What's more interesting is publishers release 15,000 self-help books per year in the United States. And that's one of the fastest growing categories is nonfiction self-help. And women are very much the majority of self-help book readers, and African Americans are also one of the highest percentage from an ethnic perspective. So let's look at a little further. So how would I understand if I wrap numbers around it? So if I'm looking for individualized self-help in 2024, and if I want to coach, there's about 34,000 certified coaches in the United States and 110 worldwide. About 72% of those are women. And customer satisfaction to date has been, the statistics say it's very well received, that 80 to 100% essentially is where satisfaction ratings lie. And their return on an investment is anywhere from 2 to 300%. So that's a pretty good record. Now, in addition to this, we want to point out that coaching is one segment of the resources that's available. There's another 56,000 psychiatrists in the United States, 728,000 social workers, and 364,000 education, guidance, and career counselors. So there's a lot more there than just coaches. And they each differ in what they offer. Professional help, however, would appear to fall short of the interest and demand because it's growing so rapidly. And it's also available in other venues. Instead of just me getting individualized help in my business, I might be exposed to coaching and or other kinds of guidance and advisors through my business. Or I might belong to a group where I can participate in group formatted exercises, say maybe around the success mentalities and so forth. So there's other ways to get at this. So if I look at it, generally my initial point solution that I may be wanting urgently to resolve is how to think strategically. Maybe it's a personal finance issue. Maybe it's I don't understand how to operate with the law of attraction. Or maybe I have things like health and wellness, ADHD, things that are a challenge to me. So let's just look at an option here. Let's say you're looking for coaching resources where life, style, and happiness are at issue. Here's some resources. The Life Coach Hub has 3,500 in its directory of certified professional coaches, psychiatrists, therapists, and medical doctors. The Life Coach Magazine directory and or the Life Coach directory also have a number of resources. And then there's a website called Numi, which also has it. And if you want to go for ICF's Credentialed Coach Finder, ICF is one of the certification agencies on an international basis, probably the largest and the oldest. And they have a total of almost 34,000 in associate, professional, master certified coaches, and many of them are split up with specialties like health and wellness, job and career changes, organizational leadership, etc. So I want to point out that at least amongst the certifying agencies, there's a consideration that certification is important. And so you want to understand the qualifications of the people you're engaging for your individual coaching and or counseling or mentoring and so forth. And to quote ICF, anyone can call themselves a coach. Credentialed coaches are professionals that have met stringent education and experience requirements. They've demonstrated a thorough understanding of competencies and set the standard for the profession. They also adhere to strict ethical guidelines. And that's important. So there, again, to remind you, there's 13 credential agencies through those 245 coaching schools. However, you will encounter a lot of coaches that are not necessarily certified. That's not a reason necessarily to discount them out of hand, but think about their experience, what they bring to bear, what their standards are, what they rely on, and in particular, how effective they can be for you. Because coaching typically has some expense to it. And here's some quotes. They're a snapshot in time, so it will vary. Some coaching can last a couple of months. It's typical for them to last a year, even on just a single issue resolution. So be aware of that when you're looking for help. So how do we as individuals focus on the need we need to satisfy, the help we need to engage? With 15,000 books a year, 91 self-help podcasts, and over 1 million professionals between coaches and other categories of therapists and advisors, which of these really fit our need and our priorities? How does this multiplicity of resources and professional help? Actually, it's a lot to manage. It's hard to know where to start and with whom to start. So if we go back to the sense that we don't know what we don't know, you need some minimum level of knowledge in the personal development space to make good decisions about how to grow. Otherwise, you're liable to be making uninformed decisions, hoping for the best results, and possibly wasting time and resources. So this is where we think lifelong fulfillment excels and comes in and helps you make good decisions. So the book, Lifelong Fulfillment, and Vision in Action Live, the companion podcast, provide a lot of baseline information on personal development. It includes things that are books that have been vetted by us, and these are ones based on factual development, particularly in psychology, economics, business, and so on. There's podcasts there, and there's professional help advice. And this is proven to be a dependable personal development process. We are articulating it and putting it in one place. We did not invent this. We did not do the research for it, but we put it all in one place so it's easily accessible. The book, the website, the podcast are comprehensive and complete. This allows you to make informed decisions about what's appropriate for you, what priority it has, and how actionable it might be for you. It helps you deliver better choices, get better results, and it doesn't waste your precious resources, time, money, and attention. And it optimizes the ability to engage the right credential point solutions like a coach or a therapist or a group session about some issue you're concerned about. And only the facts do you get from lifelong fulfillment, and these come from subject matter experts. So if you look at it graphically, which this is kind of a poor color choice, in the right-hand column are the things that are available to you. How do you sort through that? Well, if you look at the far left, lifelong fulfillment has all this baseline information. It's got lots of certified, vetted self-help books, self-help podcasts, and professional help recommendations like this broadcast to help you wade through how do I get the help I need and is it dependable and reliable? And these point solutions we want to point out to you are authoritative, they're factual, and they're trustworthy. They can be books, research papers, databases, statistics, or expert persons, certainly, and podcasts and professional help. And many of those qualifications, they might be master's degrees, PhD, it could be a certified coach professional. And also, you need to look at how long have they been doing it. And decades of practice tends to indicate these people will know what they're doing. So let's sum it up. So in looking for our best results, you don't want to act without some kind of baseline information that lifelong fulfillment offers. And you want to develop some preliminary vision for your life, some kind of a plan that you can agree is important now. And you want to get to know yourself pretty intimately and objectively. And lifelong fulfillment can help you do that with personality profiles and risk assessments and that sort of thing. And then you develop this rough life plan. At that point, you're ready to think about the need to engage a coach or a counselor, a mentor, or whatever. And then you start putting your vision into action. So that's when you engage. You look at books, research coaches, counselors, advisors, therapists, etc. And as you do this, if you're going to do lifelong fulfillment over the course of your life, what you do is wind up repeating this process with better technique and different agendas. And then you grow, you evolve, and you prosper. And then you repeat the process again. So feel free to resource yourself first and foremost with lifelongfulfillment.com. The book, the podcast, and a lot of other valuable material is available there. So now is the time in our program when we hear from point solution subject matter experts and people leading self-directed lives. Today's discussion will be on personal development dynamics. And we're going to talk with Michal Stawicki, who's a personal development and business coach and the author of 16 self-help books. Mr. Consistency focuses his coaching on changing through consistent daily action. Welcome to Vision in Action and Live, Mr. Stawicki.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for having me in this beautiful morning.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, with that brief introduction, if there's anything that you feel is also important, please elaborate for the audience if I missed anything.
Yeah, well, I also have my own business book, advertising business. So not only I coach business owners, I have a business myself, and I try to instill the principles I'm teaching and coaching upon in my own business.
I see. Okay. All right. So why don't we wade into what you do? Maybe you can talk to us about how counseling starts from a client perspective in engaging you and, when that gets resolved or, what happens then? Does it lead to full spectrum continued counseling and continuous improvement? Or is it usually sometimes just, a one issue engagement? Maybe you can tell us about that.
Okay, so I'm coach certified by European Council of Mentoring and Coaching, and they are very strict about what it is, and what you can do as a mentor and coach. And counseling sounds a bit too much like a therapy for them. Yeah, so I would be in trouble saying that I'm counseling. No, I'm coaching. And the difference between therapy and coaching is, in therapy, you are a patient and you need help. In coaching, you are a person and you are full of your resources. As a coach, I just help you to dig to them and then apply them. So it's based on your own resources and on your own strength. It's your process. I'm just like a companion to it. So yeah, and also like in the kosher way of doing coaching, like ICS or International Coaching Federation recommends, coaching process should be, several sessions,
Hmm.
a few months to maybe 1 year at max. And that's it. There was a goal and it's been accomplished, and now our ways split. But the lady who taught me coaching in PwC Academy here in Poland, she has like 20 years of experience. And she says, okay, it's fine to go back to your clients, after a few years, start a
Hmm.
new process. Why not? And I'm also a certified habit coach, and on the platform coach.me, which started as a habit tracking platform. Then they morph into coaching there. So actual they think is that coaching is ongoing till the coachee will say, okay, I'm done, or I graduated. Yeah,
I
it's
see.
I achieved what I wanted, but when it comes to developing habits, it usually takes more than few
Okay.
weeks.
Right.
Uh, and I have like habit coaching relationship with one of my clients, which is over 5 years long right
Right.
now. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So uh, you see, the spectrum is really, and I haven't really had this experience, but my mentor told me about cases when it's like second session and we hit the nail, and the client is like, oh yeah, I know, okay, this is what I need to do, and they are done in 2 sessions because you did such a excellent job of them feeling safe, so they can open up, they can find those answers inside, and then overcome their limiting beliefs, which is, as my mentor says, 80% of coaching.
Yes. Yes.
And bam, it's done. The transformation happens.
All right. So, what are the dominant issues that come to you in your estimation? I mean, is
It's
it career
yeah,
transition?
yeah. It's
Is it divorces and
yeah.
changes in
I
lifestyle?
don't have a specialization per se, other than I want to. I pursue solopreneurs, small business owners to do business coaching, which
Okay,
is
great.
actually for solopreneurs. It's kind of life coaching because I just listened this morning to Entry Leadership podcast, and Dave Ramsey says that, okay, you as a leader, you are a limit for your business, and it's always often true. So you need to grow as a person to actually grow your business, which in case of very small businesses is often true. And like I've been after through several such processes, and I would say there are a few main things, but like in life, the same in business.
I
Uh, Poor tracking of finances, poor tracking of time, uh, then whatever BS is going through our minds and stops us from, progressing. We have those wired, wild ideas about ourselves. And well, for you, it's your operating system, your set of beliefs. You don't
right, right,
question that. But when you get someone from uh, outside who is trained in just listening, and well, you want to achieve that, but you are saying this about yourself, what's going on here? Yeah. So you can be first, you can notice that
right,
something is out of ordinary. For you, it's normal, yeah, but for the external world, it may not be. And
right.
second, uh, you can do something about that. So what else is okay? And I would say self-care is also a huge in this crowd, because entrepreneurs, they work like crazy. They are obsessed, often passionate about what they are doing, and like work-life balance, that's foreign concept for them. And while pursuing this financial metrics and business metrics, they are destroying their health, their relationships. And this is one of my beliefs, that you need to work on yourself as a business owner holistically. You are a human being, so physical health, mental health, relationships,
Right.
uh, personal development, those are all the aspects you need to take care of in order to grow yourself and then your business.
Right. Well, that's kind of the self-care metric, I guess, that's out there. If you can't take care of yourself, it makes it hard to do much along your career, business, and your relationships. So that's seems completely reasonable. Um, so in changing that, are there any particular life-changing factors you mentioned? Setting goals, self-care. Were there any others in particular that show up for you in your practice?
So when it comes to life-changing factors, well, things you've just summarized from what I was saying, they are just tools, but the factors is something else. Actually, three of them were discovered by BJ Fogg, the author of Tiny Habits, and he is working on Stanford University, like behavioral change
Right.
department. Yeah, so he has decades of experience in this, and he found three ways to change your life. Have an epiphany, enlightenment, light from the sky, like
Right.
Saul. Yeah. Second, change of the environment. So you move to the different country, or you move to a different household because you got married. You change jobs, schools, and so on and so on. All kinds of changing of environment can be life-changing. And the third is changing of your habits. And for me, like I digested this discovery of PJ Fogg, and I think in the end it's all about habits, because what change of the environment gives you is like it robs you of the old triggers, and you can create new habits in your environment. So it's going down to environment. And epiphany, the same story. If you got shined the light from the sky and you don't change your life, you don't change the things you are doing, like what kind of epiphany that is, it's worth nothing. But
Mhm.
Saul uh, transforming to Saint Paul, like he changed his life completely. New, like religious order, new religious practices, um, and so on. So in the end, you after like a year, you can point out, okay, now he's a Christian because he is doing this, and this. He has new habits. And the fourth way is like a shortcut. Uh, just be around people you want to be, and then you will rub off the habits. It's how we are wired. It's how children are learning
Mhm.
to live. They observe and then mimic, and it's stronger than us. You actually need to turn on your conscious mind not to mimic someone else. So if you want to be more fit or wiser or a better salesman or whatever else, just spend more time with people who are that way.
That are already doing it. Right. Good examples and stuff. Yeah. Um, so in your practice counseling and stuff, how do you and your clients define a successful engagement and determine that I've accomplished what I wanted to do with you.
Coaching is very goal oriented. We define what's the purpose of this process.
Mhm.
And also, as a coach, this is what they teach us. You ask the questions about the goals. So, okay, I want to be more productive, but what does it mean for you? How you will know you are more productive?
Mhm.
And the same applies to like specific sessions, because let's say being more productive is the objective of the whole process. But at the first session, something else will be the goal for this session, the topic of the session, and the same rule apply. Okay, so what are we working today on? Let's say my calendar management. Okay, and how you will know that you got the right answer, that okay, this is what I was after. So the client uh, articulate articulates their goal, and it's
Right.
my job is just to capture it, maybe rephrase, maybe mirror, so clarify, and then at the end of the session, we can check against that objective. And it's not that every single time, every single session, like, okay, we achieve things. But also, I haven't seen a coaching session done properly that didn't provide at least some progress. And actually, I always ask at the end of the coaching session, okay, so what's your takeaway from this session?
Right. Mhm.
And there is always something like I never had a session when the client said, I discovered nothing, goodbye.
Right. So just to confirm for our audience, I understand that coaching properly is restricted to Socratic questioning back and forth, questioning and answering between yourself and a client. Is that true for you?
Mm, yeah, it's a good approximation of what it is.
Right.
Uh,
And
one
so
of
then
Yeah,
in that particular case, then it is reliant upon what the client knows or their level of expertise, their understanding how to set goals and action plans and to execute against that, and how, you're holding them accountable helps them stay on track. Is that accurate for you?
it's accurate for me because I'm from that habit coaching school, and
Mhm.
accountability is big thing for me. But the kosher coaching, no, accountability is like optional, and you shouldn't push your client, because in the coaching world they believe that the transformation should come from the inside. And if they realize what they are doing wrong, what are their limiting beliefs and so on, then they will realize. You don't have to, bestow your wisdom or experience on them. And once they got it, which actually is true. I think Andy Andrews said that people are changing all the time,
Right.
and you just need to meet two conditions. First, they hear something and okay, that makes sense. And then what's in it for me? Meaning, actually, well, can I do it? Yeah,
Right.
because of course it makes sense. Yeah, everybody can get a golden medal at Olympics, but can I? Oh, thank you, goodbye. And I'm not even trying to pursue that path.
Okay.
So, yeah, because Andy beautifully illustrated this, like you are trying to uh, convince your spouse not to smoke cigarettes 4 years. Oh, it stinks, and so on. And then someone speaks to them, a brief conversation, 5 minutes, and bam, they quit. And it happens all the time in the real world. It happens.
Mhm.
It's just, those two things need to click. And going back to your original line of thinking, yes, the function of those questions is so they can dig out their own answers, because we all know our answers. Like I will give you one experience from one example from my experience. I started changing my life because I got this minor epiphany after reading the book The Slight Edge, and the whole process of the Slight Edge starts from, okay, set some goals and then break them down to daily activities. And at that moment, I haven't read a self-help book in like 16 years. I was of the mind, well, it doesn't work for me. So, and after those 16 years, I sit down in 15 minutes, I brainstormed half a dozen, no, like a dozen goals and 15 daily disciplines. And I was right about 50% of the time. Out of nothing. 15 minutes. No, no training, no deep consideration. Because you are the expert on your life. You know the best what's going on. You know the best what are your resources. Of course, you know the answers.
Right. So one other aspect, we have at Lifelong Fulfillment take a look at the coaching market as background to this discussion. And one of the impressions we come away with is that demand for coaching is growing pretty rapidly. And that also includes people that are focused in specific areas, say being a better business person or personal development or simply understanding and operating with the law of attraction, things like that. Do you see that dynamic in your business? I mean, do you have to go chase to find clients, or are they actually pretty much ready there and coming to you?
No, it's not my experience. They are ready. It's like I have also this unfair advantage of being the author, and I sold, 90,000 copies of my books. So I'm not starting from scratch.
Right.
And like I have several, no, not several, over 1,500 articles all over the internet, and already millions of people read my stuff. So it's easy to discover me. And actually, right now, I'm working only with people who discovers me. They found my book or heard me on a podcast and they reach out. But there are also coaches who like actively cultivate a prospect list, let's say. Yeah. So they are looking for new clients, and the best coaches, they are like testing those prospects. Are they coachable? Because if they aren't, come on, it's hard work with little gratification. What else when it comes to and this what you said about this being specific about like divorce or business or anything else? A good coach can coach anybody on anything, but how our brains are wired, we are looking for solutions. We are looking for expertise. So we, as coaches, we need to brand ourselves in a certain way. So I brand myself as a solopreneur coach, and other can be like relationship coach or personal finance coach. And I met all those people. So it's a branding thing more than your skill set, because if it's based on your experience and on your knowledge, then it's not coaching. It's more of mentoring or even training. Yeah, and those are different animals.
Right. Okay. Well, listen, we're coming to the end of our interview session here. I wanted to make sure the audience knows how to reach you if they're so inclined.
It's so great to be Polish guy in the English speaking space. Just type my name and add anything with blog, books, Amazon, and voila, I will be at the top of the search results. So Michal Stawicki and books or blog or coaching, and you can be sure it's on the first page of Google results.
Okay, so that would be Michal Stawicki, and we'll see you on your query on internet. So,
Thank you.
all right then. Thank you for your time today, Michal. It's been very enlightening, and we really appreciate you telling us about your books and your experience.
Thank you, Jim, for having me.
Have a good day.
The same to you.
So don't forget that you can get this podcast in newsletter form under the Dynamics of Personal Development. I want to thank our guest today, Mr. Stawicki, and I want to thank you very much for attending Vision in Action Live. We hope you found it engaging today. Vision in Action Live podcasts are every week. These podcasts include important personal development information and material from Lifelong Fulfillment, and interviews with subject matter experts and people leading self-directed lives. Check out our newsletters, the book, and collateral materials at lifelongfulfillment.com. And you can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, other podcasts, Link Local Network, and KFRED Internet Radio. I'm Jim Boswell. I'm your host. Feel free to send any comments or questions to Jim at lifelongfulfillment.com, and we'll get back to you. Till the next episode of Vision in Action Live, have a productive week. We hope to see you later.